Hi, and thanks for logging on to the daily DVAR HALACHA. There's a brand new halacha for you, and it's for Friday, the 3rd day of June, the 4th day of Sivan, my last chance to speak to you before Shabbos and Shavuos. So I want to ask you a very famous question here today, and it is this. We know that the Jewish people are famous for having said, Nasav and Ishma, we will do and we will listen to the Torah. But they just like plunged in and said, we will do and we will listen. And you know, there are many, many Gemaras that talk about the great praise of the Jewish people who were willing to do that, to say we will do, before it was even clear what it was that God was going to be asking them. And they just showed that much great admiration for, that's the wrong word, but great adherence to everything that God wanted them to do, and they just said, Nasa, we will do, even before Nishma, we will hear what it is that God wants us to do. Okay, but what's fascinating is after they said Nasa and Nishma, God, according to the Medrash and the Gemara, lifted up a mountain over their heads, Har Sinai, and said, you should accept the Torah, and if you don't accept the Torah, Sham Tehei Kfurashem, literally translates kind of as, there will be your burial place. So God was putting the mountain over their heads and telling them that if they didn't accept the Torah, they would be buried right there. That's one way to understand those words. So the question is obvious. If they had just said Nasav and Ishma and showed themselves to be very willing volunteers, why were they then sort of coerced and forced into accepting the Torah with a mountain over their head? And one beautiful answer that I heard is because God says, I know that you said Nasav and Ishma, and you get tremendous credit for doing that, and great reward for doing that, as many of the Midrashim discuss. But God says, I also want you to know that you're dead without the Torah. The mountain would just fall down on you, and you would be buried. Okay? Because yes, you want to volunteer for it, but here's the new point, but it's also your lifeblood. It's the air that you breathe, and you'll be nowhere and nothing without the keeping of the Torah. So God said, it's not a contradiction. I know that my Jewish people volunteered, and I like that they volunteered, but I want them to know that it's not only about saying, yeah, we're good, we volunteered. It's not only about that. God wants us to also know that it's the air you breathe, it's the water you drink, it's your survival, and you're nowhere without it. You're dead without it. So that we come to Torah kind of with a love and a fear, a respect that says, I want it, but I'm dead if I don't have it. And that double combination should keep us committed always to the Torah, not just with the feeling of, I'm amazing because I volunteered. You are amazing the more you adhere to Torah. But it's also your lifeblood, and know that, and you would not survive without it. That's what God wants us to know. A great thought for you to know as we re-accept Torah again on this holiday of Shavuos. Have a wonderful Shabbos, a wonderful Yom Tov, and Mitzvah Hashem will speak to you on the other side of Shabbos and Yom Tov. So you should get that message sometime around Monday night and or Tuesday. Thanks for logging on. Log on again after Shavuos for more. Bye-bye.